So, welcome to another video. As I said previously, the thing is that I normally plan a route and before embarking on a long distance journey. As a result, I thought I'd show you exactly how I sort of go about doing that. And my go-to app is actually ZapMap. So the reason why I use ZapMap is basically because the user interface is so easy, not to mention that it does have a good mobile app, and that means I can basically set my destination automatically using Waze, etc. So I'm not going to go over anything like sign-in details, etc. That's pretty self-explanatory. However, I am going to go over the route plan for the journey. So as you can see, it gives you a starting location and destination. I am going to add 2 stops because I'm going to Guildford and Southampton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Hull, and I'm going to select Guildford. I'm not quite sure where in Guildford as of yet, but it's going to be a couple miles, give or take. However, with Southampton, I'm definitely going to the university, so that's why I'm going to select that. And finally, I'm going to go back to Hull. The main reason why is, yes, it will do a reverse journey, but in my case, obviously I don't want it to kind of go back on itself. If there is a more direct route, it seems to be a lot better doing it this way. We'll go show route options. Basically, obviously I don't want it to avoid motorways. However, what I've noticed is sometimes, especially a lot of navigation applications, they really like using the M6 toll. To be perfectly honest, I've not actually ever used the M6 toll before and benefited from it. And it's a bit of a waste of money if that's the case. So obviously I'm not going to select anything like that. Now, the best thing about ZapMap by far is that you can select your vehicle model. As you probably should already know, I have an MG ZSEV. So I've selected that sort of during my sign-up options. And it's come up with a real-world EV range of 155 miles. That is a little bit optimistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 130, given the weather conditions. By the way, on the way down, it's cold, but no wind. And on the way back up, same sort of temperature and a headwind. So 130 miles seems to be achievable. Quick plan options. So I'm not going to be doing any destination charging. So that's rapid only. That's why it's selected. And suggest charges, because obviously that's what I'm using the route planning app for. Now, this is where you can select parameters on battery charge. So effectively, are you going to start your journey with 100%? Yes, I am. So that's fine. The optimum for the ZSEV I've noticed is going to 10 to 80%. So basically discharging to 10, charging up to 80%. There is a couple things I am going to do though. Sometimes, a top tip is that sometimes charges come up around 8 or 9% state of charge. To be perfectly honest with you, obviously you're going to take those if they're available. Again, the throttling normally starts for the car around 80%. So if that's the case, by the time you've unplugged, it'll probably be around 81, 82% anyway. So sometimes I do like to see what's out there. For example, if I need to charge to 85%, I will. It's not the worst thing on earth. Again, charger search options, so distance from route. Give me the most choice, basically. So up to 10 miles. At the end of the day, you will need to detour if you're not using places like Ecotricity, electric highway chargers, which I'm not going to be, or explicitly not going to be. Distance from max drive range. This basically means it's going to start searching for chargers within a range estimated of around 30 miles, according to what you set it to. And again, number of suggested locations, maximise choice. Because I've selected that I have an MG ZSEV, it's also come up with the CCS connector type, which is the correct one. And finally, filter by networks. In my case, I really don't like using anything but Polar. I've got a Polar Plus subscription. You know, they've got instant availability when you search it on either their app or ZapMap. I also select Instavolt and Engenie. They're very reliable, quite a bit more expensive than Polar, however, but at a go-to emergency solid charging points. So let's go find route. And as you can see, 537 miles, 9 hours 34 minutes, and 56 miles an hour on average. So select. What it's now done is it's now given us the nearest charges. I like to go the most furthest away. So in this case, it seems to be the Wheatsheaf in Loughborough. 107 miles, 18% charge. And as I said, it does come up with instant availability. So yeah, certainly select that one. It's now figured out that I'm going to start off with 85% state of charge and then basically where that will take me. So as you can see, I do have a few choices around here. To be honest with you, it really is now dependent on where you have to come off on the junction. It seems as though that this one's not a bad shout because basically I just have to come off at junction 20 and yeah, and it's not too much of a detour out. So I'll select that one. As I said, I'm not doing any destination charging at Guildford or Southampton. There are some charges at the university, however, I'm not planning on using those. So as you can tell, the next charger is going to be Williams Garage in Polar Network. By the way, this 55 miles I don't think includes this section. So just to let you know, basically. That seems fairly reasonable. So I will select that. Now this is where it gets contentious. So effectively what it's saying is I can either risk it or backtrack. I'm going to select the backtrack method unless something changes on the day and it makes sense just to basically go straight on. For example, there is a bit of a headwind and if I've got plenty of range remaining, I might as well actually take this one. But for the route plan, I'm going to select the harvester. And hopefully that's the second to last charge. Finally, there's one more charge. I don't mind stopping at this place because from my previous video, which I'll probably link somewhere, this place was absolutely spot on because it had an ibis and I could go to the toilet, have a coffee, etc. So I'm going to add that to route. And finally, this is my route plan. So as you can see with charge stops, it gives you the itinerary basically. Gives you 7 stops in total, including obviously Guildford and Southampton, and that seems to be absolutely fine. So if I save the plan, just call it Hull to Guildford to Southampton to Hull, just for future reference. Save. It's now saved that route plan in, 550 miles in total. And basically what happens is now, I'll probably show you it on the video, which I will link to. And basically what it does is I can select it on my mobile app and I can actually select it to do Waze navigation and that's it. So be sure to like and subscribe and I will talk to you later.